Welcome once again. It's good to have you joining us for the second session of our second day of our 5-day Stop Smoking program. I'm Tabani Jojo, Director of Third Angel Media. Right, we will be looking at nutrition and how nutrition is important in your battle to stop smoking. And it's going to be beneficial not only for the smoking participants who want to quit smoking, but even our non-smoking participants are going to be greatly blessed by this. So allow me to share my slide, and then we will begin our session looking at smokers and nutrition. Right now, there are 3 key areas for good nutrition, not only for smokers, but even non-smokers. We always need to keep these 3 issues in mind. Number 1, balance. You need a balanced diet. Our body needs nutrients for it to function. For you to have energy, you need nutrients. For you to have energy, you need good nutrition. For you to be able, for your immune system to work, you need nutrition. For you to be able to balance, you need nutrition. All of these different chemicals, all of these different processes that take place in your body require good nutrition. You need the balance of all of that. And the next important point is that you need variety. You need to eat from a variety of foods, right? This will enhance your good nutrition, variety. And then you also need moderation. By moderation, it's avoiding all the bad things, and also it is using wisely that which is good. So let's look at a few issues that we need to consider. We need to cut on the fats, right? That's the first point of call. Cut on the fats, especially saturated fat. There's good evidence from both animal and human studies that excess saturates increases the risk of several cancers. So avoid saturated fats, avoid the bad food, avoid your fast foods. These things are not good. Avoid those food or avoid those fats. But eat more fruits and vegetables, right? And the less processed they are, the better, right? Having your 100% fruit juice is fine, but it's better to eat the orange, right? So it's not bad to have your fruit juice, but better to have the orange. That's just one example of processing as compared to its most nutritious state, right? Avoid being overweight. Whenever we find ourselves being overweight, we are setting ourselves up for health problems. In different parts of the world, particularly, for example, Zimbabwe, where I come from, many people find being obese, being overweight, as a sign of good living, as a sign of success. They even say you're looking healthy when someone is overweight, or someone is strong when they're overweight. It's not, sadly. It is a precondition to many health challenges. Even in this COVID environment, it's been noticed that those who are overweight are facing bigger challenges with the COVID pandemic. So obesity raises the chances of hormone-dependent cancers of breast, cervix, and endometrium and prostate cancers. All of this is affected by being overweight. Now, what would also encourage is that you eat more fiber. Fiber is the brush that cleans up the dirt in our system. So when you eat these waste products, and fiber helps the waste products to be moved down the digestive system. So fiber plays a key role in the prevention of the cancer of the bowel. If you are not having enough fiber, all the waste material that we get accumulates in the colon, and it accumulates and it piles up, and it can even become kgs of waste material that is piled up over a period of years, and it increases the risk of colon cancer. Wheat bran, in particular, has been shown to be effective and thorough in a laxative effect to get your stools moving. So look for bran, wheat bran. Look for your flax seeds as well. You can have flax seeds. There's many other items that may be included to help to deal with constipation that has resulted from having a diet that is low in fiber. So please have a high fiber diet. We cannot overemphasize that. Now, we also need to eliminate salt cured and smoked foods like smoked sausages, hot dogs, corned beef, bacon, ham, all these things. They need to be avoided, eliminated completely from the diet. These foods contain nitrates and nitrites, compounds which in the stomach form nitrosamines, which are not good for your health. These are among the most potent agents for stomach cancer, right? Another important thing is to avoid alcohol, especially when you are smoking. Please, please, please avoid alcohol. Alcohol will affect the way you think. It will decrease your ability to resist temptations. It will decrease your ability to deal with stress and its many other challenges. We're going to have a health talk that deals particularly with alcohol. Avoid alcohol. Alcohol, particularly if combined with smoking, is associated with cancers of the mouth, throat, esophagus, and rectum, especially for beer consumers. And it's more harmful for women than men, interesting enough. Now, you also need to minimize or eliminate where possible browned or charred foods, whether it's chicken or fish or beef, when cooked at high temperatures above 150 degrees Celsius, can create potent end products such as polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. So what this basically means is when you go for your braai, barbecue, they call it barbecue in America, those high temperatures, when it comes out burnt, will predispose you, will give you an increased probability of getting these different cancers. So we need to avoid such situations. Now, one thing we want to highlight is when you smoke, tobacco itself, when you smoke, the smoke that you inhale has many chemicals that rob the body of nutrients. So it has been noted that smokers are nutrient deficient. What that means is you may include nutrients in your diet, but as you smoke, that smoke and the chemicals within that smoke rob your body of those nutrients. So let's look at some of the nutrients that your body is robbed of when you smoke. Smoking drains the body of many essential vitamins and minerals, which affect your ability to absorb these vital nutrients. For example, vitamin C, which is one of the body's main antioxidants and necessary for the immune system. This is affected by your tobacco smoke. Antioxidants are linked to the prevention of a number of diseases, and you need antioxidants in your body. And of these antioxidants, vitamin C is a big boy. He's one of the big boys of that. So vitamin C not only helps you to fight off diseases by helping your immune system, but vitamin C also helps you to absorb iron. And you need iron for good blood, right? So if you don't have sufficient vitamin C, you are not likely to be absorbing sufficient iron. And if you don't have sufficient iron, you don't have good blood. That's a big problem. So low levels of vitamin C are linked to a lack of iron. So raw fruits and vegetables, especially citric fruits like lemons and oranges, are high in vitamin C. So this is where your water drinking with lemon juice is very important. And we keep highlighting that as you go through this second session, please continue to drink your warm water with lemon juice squeezed in it. You need it. Your body needs it to build up on the vitamin C for your immune system and for your iron. Iron is very high in blackstrap molasses. So besides having your fruits and your vegetables, look for blackstrap molasses to help build up your iron. Blackstrap molasses is also high in manganese. It's also high in copper. It's also high in many other different minerals, your B vitamins that are necessary for your body, but that's a different topic altogether. Iron is also high in green vegetables, your whole grains, your nuts, and your beans. Wonderful stuff that we can include in our diet. Right. Now let's look at your B complex deficiency. Smokers are also linked to a deficiency in your B vitamins. B vitamins are necessary for emotional stability. B vitamins are necessary for brain and nerve functioning. B vitamins are necessary for good hair and skin and much, much more. So when the body is low on B vitamins, it affects all these different aspects. So for example, if you have a deficiency in B vitamins, you are more likely to suffer from depression, anxiety, and all these host of issues. And the more you are likely to suffer from these things, the more likely you are bound to smoke. And the more you smoke, the worse it gets. So it's a spiral that just keeps going down. You need to put a stop to that. Will help you to stop smoking, but you need to also build up on your B vitamins to get your nutrition up once again. Right, so B vitamins are high in your black strip molasses. We've highlighted that. Your whole grains, your potato peels. When you're cooking your potatoes, baking them, or whatever method that you want, as far as possible, please include potato peels. Don't skin them off. Just wash your potatoes, make sure the dirt is cleaned off, and cook with the potato peels. It's under the peels where you get the B vitamins. Your nuts, your seeds, your brewer's yeast, your beans. There's so many places where you can get your B vitamins. Now, let's look at the issue of protein. Protein is necessary to build up the body, to repair the body. So one thing we need to know is that plant proteins are a plus without the negativity of cholesterol and fat and things like that. Some may be worried that you may not get enough protein on a plant-based diet. Don't be worried. Plant-based diet can have sufficient protein. Remember, we mentioned balance, variety, and moderation. So basically, protein, when we talk about protein, there are 20 different amino acids that the body needs for it to build and repair. This is basically the proteins that we're talking about. When you talk about protein, it basically comes down to 20 different amino acids. Now, there are 9 of these 20. 9 are classified as essential, and the body must get those 9 from food. When the body gets these 9 amino acids from food, the body can make the other 11. So it's very simple. The body needs 20 amino acids, right? It's the 20 different amino acids that make protein. But of these 20 that the body needs, it just needs to import, so to put it, it needs to import 9 of those from the food that you eat. And once it has imported the 9 amino acids, once it has eaten the 9 amino acids, it can then manufacture the different 11 amino acids, right? So let's look at the quality of protein. Where can we get these 9 amino acids? Grains and legumes are an excellent combination. When you say grains and legumes combining, we mean when you sit down to have a meal and you have your strala and your beans, it can be sugar beans. Your strala, your maize meal is actually a grain and your beans is a legume. If you have your rice mixed with peanut butter, your whole grain rice particularly, your rice is a grain and your peanuts are a legume. If you have your bread sandwich and you decide to spread your chickpea or to have your bread with your ndumba or your which is basically your cowpeas, or indluvu, which is basically your round nuts. These things, you'll be having your bread, which is a grain, and your ndumba, which is a legume. So your beans, your peas, those are legumes. Have your grains, your maize, your rice, your mavele or your sorghum. Have these things with your legumes, and you will have very, very good protein, right? Now, it's important that these whole grains that we're talking about are whole grain foods. Don't get your refined meal, white rice, your white bread. Avoid those things. Get your whole grains to help you get that excellent protein. Right. Now, why we're saying that is your protein quality of white flour is 22% less than whole wheat. So it's a huge difference when we're talking about protein quality. Now, almost all plant foods don't have complete protein. By complete protein, we mean specifically those 9 essential amino acids. Soy flour is one of the foods that have complete protein. Amaranth is another one. There are very few, and the other ones are not particularly as easily accessible. But soybean is easily accessible to a large part of the world population as we speak, and it has a complete protein. It has the 9 essential amino acids, right? And the protein found there is favorable to the protein that is found in milk, right? Now, on the other side, we are mentioning the need for protein. And this is where moderation comes in. Too much protein is not good for the body. Excess protein, particularly animal protein, can cause calcium loss. So the body will say, look, we've got too much protein. The protein, when it is taken care of, has waste products. And the best way to deal with these waste products that comes from the processing of protein, particularly animal protein, when it comes in excess, the way that the body deals with this excess protein, the waste product thereof, is by taking the calcium from the bones to neutralize this waste product so that it becomes in a state that can be eliminated. So when you have excess protein, particularly animal protein, you are setting up for a big problem, calcium loss, which increases the risk of osteoporosis. It can negatively impact kidney functions in persons with previous renal disease, right? So population health studies show that the USA, Canada, and Scandinavia, that's Norway and Sweden and the like, have the highest dietary consumption and the highest incidences of osteoporosis. But strangely enough, when you look at particularly the Scandinavian countries, they are the countries that have the highest levels of milk intake. So the correlation between high milk intake and osteoporosis is hard to ignore. Right. Now, this is a statement from the World Health Organization. It says, if a person has enough calories from a variety of foods to maintain health and normal weight, he is getting enough protein. So don't worry about the protein as long as you get sufficient variety of foods. You're maintaining normal weight, you're getting sufficient calories, and you are covered there. Let's look at carbohydrates, another important element for good diet. Now, grains are necessary. They are your source of energy. That's what's good. They are rich in what are called complex carbohydrates. Very good for you. They have different types of fiber. Now, carbohydrates, I've just mentioned in passing, are a good source of energy. They keep you going. If you want energy, make sure you have a good source of carbohydrates, whole grains, a variety of them. And also it has good dietary fiber. We've mentioned the importance of fiber. They also have provide a good source of protein. We've explained that, the difference between whole grains and refined grain. Right. What else can you find in grains? There's your B complex and your vitamin E. This is found in your whole grains, right? And remember, we talked about B vitamins, good for emotional health, right? Your whole grains also are high in minerals, your iron, your potassium, your calcium, your zinc, magnesium, manganese, copper, all of these very important minerals for your body, which we are not able to consider at the moment. Whole grains also have hundreds of phytochemicals. These are cancer-fighting chemicals, as it were. They very important for the body to have these. These are found in grains. We must have our whole grains. Low in fat, sugar, and sodium. Excellent stuff. They contain no cholesterol. These are advantages that cannot be found in animal products. They can be stored for long periods without losing nutritional value. And they have a wide variety of uses. You can boil them, you can bake them, you can roast them. It's almost endless, the list that you can have. Now, they also provide satiety. So when you want to eat and reduce on quantity, but consider satiety, then include grains in your diet. If you don't have sufficient whole grains in your diet, it's easy for you to continue snacking because you'll eat a diet that does not bring satiety and you easily get hungry and you'll want to nibble again. So you need to include your grains. Grains also have the positive effect of releasing energy slowly into the bloodstream. What that means is you have a storehouse, a tank of energy that is there, that is slowly released into the body as and when it is needed. That is different from unrefined grains, where the food is easily changed from food to energy, and that's easily burnt up. Worse still, if your energy source is your caffeinated drinks, you get a sharp sugar spike. The sugar levels in the blood shoot up and easily come down, even to levels that were lower than before you even began. And that is not good for the body. So let's look at the power of the grain. The grain has different parts that have been put together by a master designer, even the Lord Jesus Christ. There's the husk, that's the outer part, which many times is removed when people want to refine it and get your white rice or your white wheat or your white maize. That's removed, but that's very, very important. Then there's the endosperm. The endosperm is essentially protein. It's what remains. That is the white stuff that remains after refining. And then there's the bran as well. The bran is what is outside the grain. My apologies. The husk is the outer part that covers the whole grain. For example, wheat. Before you have your wheat, you need to remove the husk, right? Even your small grains, you need to remove the husk, the outer part, before you're left with the grain. That grain now will have your bran, which has your minerals, which has your vitamins, which are necessary for health, which are good for cleaning up the colon, as we've mentioned. And the endosperm is the white stuff that remains. And then there's the germ. The germ is where you find the oils. Now, the germ and the bran are refined. They are removed during the refining process, and which is not good for us. So having said that, we then look at the refined grains. They well, comparing unrefined wheat to refined wheat. And refined wheat has 86% loss of vitamin B1, 70% loss of vitamin B2, 86% loss of niacin, of iron, vitamin B6, your folic acid, your pantothenic acid, all of these as a result of refining grains. And the list continues. So without a doubt, your whole grains are far much better than your refined grains. And when we are in this battle of moving away from smoking to a healthier lifestyle, please consider having your whole grains. Now, one will then say, hey, but how about the issue of weight, right? Can you eat lots of complex carbs and still lose weight? The answer is yes, right? Now, if you have, when you have a healthy diet, you don't have to restrict yourself and starve yourself. You can eat whole grains, your vegetables, your grains nicely without losing weight and eating to satiety. These things can be done and are actually being done. And once you do this, not only are you correcting your weight, but you're also reducing your chance of high heart disease, diabetes, and digestive problems. All of these things, my brothers and sisters, are at your disposal. Now, let's look at fats very quickly. Fats are very important for the body. They're a concentrated source of energy, right? When you're looking at it per gram, and the body uses fat energy in certain circumstances. Fats add flavor and palatability to your food. So you need good fats for you to enjoy your food. It supplies certain fat-soluble vitamins and fatty acids, such as your omega-3, right? What do fats do? They help the heart to function properly. They are necessary for cell membrane production. So when your body wants to make cells, it needs fats to give each cell a good membrane. It helps to maintain blood pressure. So fat is important. It is used by the body to make certain hormones. We've touched on hormones already. It provides an insulating layer under the skin and around important organs as well, which helps for temperature control. So the issue, it should be clear that fat is important, but the issue is, where do you get good sources of fat? You can get your good fat from your nuts, your flaxseed, your sesame seed, your sunflower seed, your pumpkin seeds, your avocados, your wheat germ, your soya beans, and much, much more. Right. So that brings us to the end of the importance of considering a good diet when fighting off tobacco. When moving away from tobacco, your body needs to heal, your body needs to recover. And we are not only concerned about you being tobacco free, we actually want you to enjoy vibrant health. And you can't enjoy vibrant health without having a good diet. And so would like to point you to a study that we've had, a much more in-depth study that looks at the issue of food, biblically speaking, what the Bible says about food. It's entitled, "It's All Good, but It's Not All Food." It will help you appreciate what the Bible says on this very important topic. So please, you'll get this on our YouTube channel or on our Facebook page. It's lesson 18 in a Bible study series called Meet Your God Study Series. Those are our contact details. Please get hold of us. We'd love to hear from you. That brings us to the end of our second session of day number 2. Thank you for being with us. Please join us for the third session of the day. We will end right here.